Yo sup, this is your boy NY3. Now the new wave for Dragunity support is not only the 4 cards that we talked about last time. We did get a new one announced, a 5th card, just today. And it is this card right here, Dragunity Divine Wind. I have to apologize to the random Konami intern who made this wave of Dragunity support. I was not familiar with the game. You do be cooking. The 4 cards announced previously I was quite critical of in my previous video because, you know, they just simply weren't that good. They didn't address the core issues of Dragunity, pure Dragunity. But this card right here kind of ties it all together. So yeah, let's just dive into it. Now this card does have applications semi-generically for Dragon or Wing Beast decks, as well as like a bonus effect for Dragunity decks. So I'm going to be talking about, you know, both applications, pure Dragunities first, and then the semi-generic applications towards the end of the video. But as always, before both of these things, we're actually going to talk about the artwork and maybe speculate on what lore is associated with it, as per usual with my videos. The artwork, in the background we can see it's probably Dragon's Ravine in the background, so that's kind of the setting. The name implies Divine Wind, Dragunity Divine Wind, so it's probably like a merge between Dragon's Ravine and the Mist Valley field spell, Mist Valley Divine Wind. In the foreground we have a battle going on between 2 dragons. On our corner, I believe that is the new guy Arius, and on the enemy's corner it looks like Evil Swarm corrupted dragon of Ice Barrier. As for which dragon of Ice Barrier, I'm not sure. It could even be a completely new one. We don't really know what's going on with the lore until they release like a new master guide book. But I mean, I feel like we might just be like fleshing out the original timeline. So first up, we fight the Ice Barrier dragons. You know, Ascalon versus Trishula, and then now, in chronological order, the Evil Swarm corruption happens, and then we're fighting that. Yeah, I don't know if the Evil Swarm are attacking us in our home in the picture, or if it's the other way around, or if they like, you know, already took over our home, and then we're like kind of reclaiming it. You know, I think both are possibilities at this point, but yeah, that's all I can see from the artwork. As for the card itself, it's a field spell, which is really cool. I really like field spells, and it doesn't like replace Dragon's Ravine. In fact, it's designed to work alongside Dragon's Ravine, which is cool, since now that the deck has 2 great field spells in the deck, we can run cards like Set Rotation naturally without having to like run a brick as well as give us more utility for cards like Terraforming. You know, Terraforming would be able to search either, depending on what you need at that moment. Also, cards like Ancient Fairy Dragon becomes very real possibilities with a card like this. Ancient Fairy Dragons, we have natural way of summoning in the deck via the level 3 tuner Gusame, which is easily accessible thanks to a lot of the new support, but this card itself as well. As well as we could access, you know, Ancient Fairy Dragon via Ultimate Zulkan, since we do have a level 6 Synchro Tuner in the extra deck that we can summon whenever we want, if we do want to go into Zulkan and then into Fairy. The effect as for the actual effect of this card, it only has one effect, and it's a hard once per turn, so you can only use the effect of this card's name once per turn, which kind of means we might not be running 3 of this. I mean, it is really easily searchable. Now the effect is, during your main phase, you can apply one of these effects, or if you have Dragon's Ravine in your graveyard, you can apply both in sequence. So the 2 effects, one of them is add 1 dragon or winged beast monster from your grave to your hand, and the other one is special summon 1 Dragunity monster from your hand, then you can equip 1 Dragon Dragunity monster from your deck to it. The disappointing thing is this card's design does seem quite outdated. You know, if you compare it to some of the Mitsurugi cards, for example, or like the modern archetypes, they kind of moved away from hard once per turns to hard twice per turn. So when they have like these multiple choice effects, they would let you use each of the multiple effect once per turn. So yeah, we are kind of outdated on that front. We are also kind of outdated that this deck kind of relies on like the interactions between several cards to get things done. So for example, in my previous video, I talked about how disappointing Dragunity's Corinus was, our new level 4 winged beast. How, you know, it has a cool effect that triggers on special summon, but it doesn't have the ability to special summon itself. Whereas all of the new modern archetypes, like basically every monster just has an additional effect that summons themselves for free from the hand or wherever. So yeah, we have to like go through hoops and hurdles, use this card to special summon that card, and on special summon it gets effect, etc. So again, in that aspect, we are also quite outdated. But I get why like Dragunity Corinus doesn't have a self-summoning effect now, because they plan to release this card which has an effect to special summon it. And I guess I kind of get why Dragunity Corinus doesn't search Dragon's Ravine, because we are getting a new field spell that has Dragunity in its name. So yeah. Now as for the two effects, we'll go over the second one first, just because it's more relevant to a pure Dragunity deck, which is the topic that we're going to be talking about first. So special summon one Dragunity monster from your hand, then you can equip one Dragon Dragunity monster from your deck to it. Obviously, equipping a dragon from your deck to your dude is basically like at the worst a +1, right? If you just equip a tuner, we get like, you know, we could get Koos into circulation, we could get Phalanx into circulation, right? Whichever one you're missing. So that's obviously amazing. We could also get Armor Graham or Armor Laberton into circulation, which is the cool part about this effect, right? It doesn't say Dragunity Tuner. You can equip any Dragon Dragunity monster from your deck to it. So if you need like just a free dragon body that you can summon later on in the form of an Armor Graham, or if there's like some dragon rulers in your graveyard that needs banishing, you know, equipping that Armor Graham from your deck and getting into your graveyard, getting into circulation might be quite relevant. Armor Laberton, I mean, it's kind of hard to explain, so I won't be explaining why it's important to get an Armor Laberton into the graveyard for circulation, but any Dragunity player would know that, you know, the possibilities of having a Laberton in the graveyard and what that would mean to your combos. Heck, it might even like open up some FTK combos, just because Armor Laberton, you know, is an old card. It's not once per turn. You could just keep bringing it back if you want. So yeah, I'm not sure like if these niche options would be needed in the deck or not. I'd actually have to like sit down and work through the combos before giving you an answer on that. But for now, it's just quite important to know that these options exist, because it doesn't say Dragunity Tuner. The other cool thing is we can, you know, equip Gusame from the deck, opening up options, the level 7 synchro options, very easily. Now the bad thing about this effect is this word in the middle, which says then, you know, then you can equip one Dragon Dragunity monster from your deck to it. Now that does mean it's not simultaneous, so we'll make things mistiming. Now the card I'm thinking about here is Armor Mistletoe. So Dragunity Armor Mistletoe, when it's summoned from the hand, you can equip a Dragunity from your graveyard. The equip from deck would make the equip from graveyard mistiming. You could choose to not equip from deck, and then you can equip from graveyard, but you have to choose one or the other, basically. Which is an unfortunate piece of this synergy. As for the other effect, add one Dragon or Winged Beast monster from your graveyard to your hand. I really like this effect. Again, lets you cook because, you know, it's semi-generic, not, you know, completely locks you into the archetype or anything. It lets you add any Dragon or Winged Beast. And since this is a once per turn effect during your main phase, so every turn you have this thing up on the field, it's gonna recuperate one card from your graveyard. This deck has always had very bad card economy, just because of how archaic Dragon Ravine's design is. You know, you have to place it on the field, and you have to discard a card to get the effect, right? So it's basically a -1 using Dragon's Ravine. Now here, Dragunity Divine Wind basically gives you a +1 every turn, so you know, it kind of balances out the card economy. Now since it's not Dragunity specific, you could be adding a DD Crow back to your hand every single turn if you want, because it's a winged beast, right, in your graveyard. You could be adding back Bestials. So this card actually kind of reminds me a lot of Bestial Regained. Not Bestial Regained, Branded Regained, the continuous spell, where you get to draw a card every turn on your turn and then draw a card every turn on your opponent's turn. It's kind of similar. You can, you know, like I can see this card being used in like a pure Bestial deck, for example. They have a really good grind game with Branded Regain and the trap card already. If you can add this to it, so you know, you could link 2 Bestials off into a Romulus, for example, and add this, and then this, activate this, and get back a Bestial, right? And then every turn you can get back a Bestial. You could even get back Bestial Magnum Hut, and then, you know, every time you summon Magnum Hut, you obviously get a search at the end phase, right? So it's kind of like a +2 every turn, with a DD Crow effect as well. So yeah, excellent grind game card for Bestial. The other generic deck that I see used for this card in is probably Dragon Rulers, actually. You know, you could use Ravine to dump the Baby Light Dragon. You know how important the Baby Light Dragon is to the new Dragon Ruler deck. And then you can activate this and add the Baby Light Ruler to your hand. You know, that could be an avenue in a pure Dragunity deck. Even if you don't have Dragon's Ravine in your graveyard, you know, you can kind of still use this card as an extender. The cool thing about like this card in general, the thing that mainly gets me hyped up about is how it gave Dragunity a 3rd summon, right? So the thing I've always complained about regarding Dragunity is that it only has 2 plays each turn, which is very important. It basically means if your opponent sets up a board that only has 2 negates or 2 disruptions, it can stop your whole entire turn. Now we have 3 plays with this card. And it's even more important when you're going first, because while before, you know, like basically 2 hand traps can stop your whole entire turn because your play is a normal summon and your secondary play is Legatus plus Remus special summon. Those are your only 2 plays. Now that we have a 3rd play, would get stopped by 3 hand traps instead of 2 hand traps, and that's really important because kind of like 2 hand traps is kind of what you expect in modern Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Like if you run 60 hand traps, you're expected to open on average 2 hand traps. To get to an average of 3 hand traps, you need to be running 24 in a 40 card deck. Not many engines are small enough to let you do that. So, you know, like putting them on 3 hand traps to stop your combo, that's a huge upgrade from 2, like a huge statistical upgrade. So that's the most exciting thing about it. But like the secondary exciting thing about this is its ability to add back any dragon, and that includes Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. So this deck has always had a poor grind game due to simply the quantity of cards you need to pull out of your extra deck just to do your initial turn 1 combo, right? Like you basically use your whole entire extra deck and have like a couple of cards left if you do like the full Dragunity combo. Now that's an issue because if they break your board, you basically have like no place left, right? Because you only have like a couple of cards in your extra deck that's worth going into. This card, being able to add back something like Red MD, you know, you could just get back your Red MD, summon the Red MD effect, revive your Aridbra or something, and then you just have half your board back for no reason. You know, like these 2 are the 2 main reasons why I'm so excited for this card in a pure Dragunity deck.